Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk podcast here every Tuesday and Friday, and that's the reason we're probably at the top of your Spotify Wrapped podcasts.
I was inundated actually with messages from people saying, yeah, you were number one, or in some cases number 3 behind Cultaholic, but still, like broadly speaking, mostly number 1.
I did mine, and the most listened to podcast. What we don't feature because I'm not that narcissistic to listen to us as well as listen to you here. Yeah. But it was the Wrestlers Entertainment, and did you get this?
Well, no,
I got a special message for Marina Hyde.
Well, I know what Ollie Davis was doing last night then.
And it just goes, "Hi, I'm Marina Hyde." And for a split parasocial second, I was like, she's recorded this for me. Of course, it's a generic one that everyone gets if you're in the top 5. But yes, we're here every Tuesday and Friday, and you can subscribe on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. And Notorious BHG here writes, weird echo issues at the start of this episode, he's talking about Tuesdays, that quite a few people cannot wait 2 minutes 30 seconds to get fixed. For a laugh, I put those comments into a text and speak machine, and instead of the comments running across the display, it was hundreds of tiny QR codes that took me to a waiting room for next week's episode. Honestly, amazing work using fake audio issues to debut new episodes.
It's big brain thinking.
Yeah, it's setup, it's payoff.
People think we're incompetent at our jobs. No.
You've noticed the audio issues over the last couple of weeks. We've been trying to fix them. But actually, it was all intentional because it's another marketing scheme. Yeah. But that is hopefully the end of that really inventive, intentional marketing scheme, because we think we've hopefully fixed it. And as you're listening to this, I don't sound like a robot.
Yes, we think it's a Premiere Pro exporting or audio enhancing that they've just automatically placed on there using some form of AI. It's maybe some form of engineering where they have made a product worse when they didn't need to, but we don't know. We're just running some tests. Hopefully this one will be fine.
What we are absolutely certain of is this isn't a simulation. This is not a robotic version of your life.
Who was your number 1 artist? Your Spotify Wrapped.
Oh, it was a band called Divorce. I listen to new music.
Faith No More. I don't listen to new music, as it would turn out. But as I suspected earlier this year, Weezer's Pinkerton was in my top 5 most listened to albums.
That was my number 2.
That's because you and I listened to it like 3 times each in preparation for that podcast we did.
It was my top 3 with Divorce's Welcome to Golden Hammer, their new album, Weezer's Pinkerton, and the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds. Yes, they're the best band ever. Right, so in this episode, you're going to tell us your Spotify?
I'll tell you what mine works. It's what everyone wants to know.
It's that time of year.
It is that time of year.
You know, YouTube's doing one now.
Oh, I know, yeah. I can tell you what my most watched YouTube channel was. It was Beard Meets Food.
Nice.
And then it's followed by Neroz Bard.
Oh, that's good. That's good for us.
It is, yeah.
Busman's Holiday for you.
Yeah, well, I like Clock Tower.
And they're long videos.
Yeah, top artists were Faith No More, Nirvana, Deftones, Weezer, and The Beatles.
No, I think you've... Is that the 20-year ago edition?
No, it is. No, it's legit. That is my Spotify Wrap for 2025. And none of their songs were in my top 5 most played songs because my kid requests songs. So my top 5 songs are songs that she has really gotten into this year. So it's Hot to Go by Chapel Row and Pink Pony Club.
That was on mine. That was on my top 5 songs, Hot to Go.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper.
Great.
A song from Trolls. And Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis.
So singles for the bubba, albums for the dada.
Oh, that's right.
On this episode, we're going to be covering AEW Dynamite, the gold and blue leagues of the C2 Progress.
Yes, but we're going to be kicking things off talking about a report. It's kind of a report, not exactly like an official written in the Observer newsletter or written on Fightful Select, but something that Ibu of Selfmade PW was talking about on his podcast. So Ibu is a guy who has got a good track record of having very good connections within AEW and WWE and sort of around the wrestling world. He was working with Fightful. He had a bit of some controversy earlier this year, which kind of made him step away from Fightful for a little bit. but he's done a lot of reflecting upon that, and when the way that he kind of talks about the things that he is told, because he gets told a lot of things, then often will just be like, here's what I've heard, here's what I've been told, and then that can sort of backfire on people, and it can make people mad and upset.
Yes, yeah.
So he's been much more careful about the way that he does talk about the things that he is told. And he was talking on their post-Survivor Series review about, well, here's what the WrestleMania plans are, and here's what happened. And the big sort of arc of this is, and I'll give you the quote he said about him, Roman Reigns is now the most potent backstage political force that is an active talent since Hollywood Hogan.
Which is mad. Like, that's a really big claim, because Triple H has been in existence since Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
An excellent point.
So I think there is a bit of hyperbole there. I don't think Roman Reigns is out-politicking the guy who got with the boss's daughter, scuppered about 10 years of pushes, always made himself the focal point, and is now running the company. And I'm sure there's quite a few other names you could add to that list. But it is, hyperbole aside, it sure seems like something has shifted over the last 3 weeks with the direction to WrestleMania. And again, look back at Unreal. There is that screenshot of the whiteboard from Survivor Series time. They have a rough direction of where they're going, but it's not concrete. This idea that long-term booking is this thing you decide now and it exactly goes to plan a year later is nonsense. That's not how anything works. Even your favorite, most intricately plotted TV shows, they're rewriting bits on the day when they film them, generally.
Same with films. Marvel Studios, quite famously, their method of making movies is that the script is incomplete when they start making it, and then we'll rewrite it as it goes, because people come in with new ideas, and you just sort of go freeform it. They boast about that as being sort of like one of their methods of making films.
Spoiler for my recommendation that's coming up later. I went to the Wes Anderson archives. Yeah. I knew you'd love it.
Did every item look the same? But everyone walks by and was like, he still got it. What a genius. Hasn't done anything good for the last 10 years, but he still got it. And I will go to the next one.
If you don't like Marmite, Luke, that's fine. I like Marmite. Why does me liking Marmite have to make you upset?
It doesn't make me upset. It's just fun to make fun of you for liking a guy who every time you go to one of his films, you tell me, it's just not very good.
Yeah, it is true though. So Royal Tenenbaums, they have the script, the working script from the set of the Royal Tenenbaums there. And I was looking at it. There are a few directors more intentional and premeditated than Wes Anderson. You know, every frame is like storyboarded and designed. That script is just marker, changing lines, changing dialogue. This guy goes over here.
Yeah.
That's on the day.
It's on the day.
The creative process shifts a lot.
Yeah.
And now we have this bit where, it's Survivor Series. It's the road to WrestleMania. They must roughly know where they're going to go. And it seems like it shifted partly due to injury, but partly due to some people just going, I want this match.
Yeah, I think you can have an idea. You finished WrestleMania 41 and you sit down and be like, here can be one of our main events of WrestleMania 42. Let's start putting the pieces in place for that now. But you can do that. Like, I think that WWE over the years have definitely put those in place. Like, the end of WrestleMania 39 is done to set up the main event of WrestleMania 40.
With the chicken.
The chicken was, the nexus point of all of this. Like, you have to do WrestleMania 39 to build to WrestleMania 40. The John Cena losing to The Rock at WrestleMania was done to build to John Cena beating The Rock at the following year's WrestleMania. So you can't, it does exist and it can happen. But things happen, curveballs throw. The best thing to do is kind of have a skeletal plan. We'll go with this sort of idea. We might pivot and change things along the way, but the end point will be the same. The things that often will change that, though, are people saying things like, that doesn't work for me, brother. And if you've got a lot of political sway, that can really change what the creative wants to do or the direction you want to do as head booker, because one of your most noted stars, one of your biggest names, actually wants to do what they want to do rather than what you want to do.
It's interesting how, when you were saying that, I thought, it's like the wrestlers themselves, their egos going, I want to do this, or I don't want to work with them. CM Punk famously walked out of the build to WrestleMania 30 because he was like, I'm not facing Triple H.
I want to face Triple H, even though he was going to win. It's like, I get nothing out of this.
And so you've got like the egos, and then you've got injuries, but you very rarely get, the fans wanted this. Because like the Seth Rollins Vision storyline, I'm really upset that the guy got hurt. I don't wish that on anyone, but it was boring. It was a boring story that we were all pretty tired of. Mm-hmm. But WWE wasn't going to listen to us or the fan reactions to it. They only changed course because a guy got injured.
And sometimes when they do listen, i.e. say a Kofi Kingston or a Daniel Bryan, and we're like, we will put those into the main event, we will have them win the titles. That's not the plan that they had anyway, so they won't really take it very seriously on the other side of that. Kofi Kingston was treated as a mid-carder despite being WWE champion. Danielson wins the title, his first feud with Kane. Like, these are not the big title programs to come out of having just won the WWE championship. So yes, sometimes they will listen to fans, but then also just kind of go with what they wanted to do anyway, despite what you fans wanted us to do. So
should we go from there's sort of 3 phases of this? Yes. There's the pre-Seth injury phase.
Yes, so I think you can. Yeah, they're right. There's 3 ideas here. There is the original plan, the secondary plan to that, and then the post-Seth injury. So I think that's probably the best way to set this up.
Sorry, I thought it was more, there's the original plan, Seth gets injured. No, there's the secondary plan.
No, so I think there's a plan, then Seth gets hurt, then it changes into something else.
Yes. So, yeah. And then it changed into something after that.
No, so it was a plan.
You're more familiar with the story. I'll let you go through the phases.
So
Do I need to watch WandaVision for this to make sense? I didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3.
Just
Am I lost?
Read the wiki write-up of this. So Ibu claims that the original plan, and actually, even credit to Ibu, I think if you just watch the TV, you can see this was the original plan. The original plan for WrestleMania 42 was Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship. Sami Zayn wins the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, and he faces Seth Rollins. This was set up the week after WrestleMania, because you had that segment you had Sami look at the title when it was on Jay's shoulder. Then you had that promo with Seth Rollins where it's like, you'll never be the world champion. And then he got into a feud with The Vision where Paul Heyman's like, no, go to SmackDown. I've set you up a WWE Championship match with John Cena if you just go over. And Sami's like, no, I'm sticking here. I want to beat Seth Rollins.
I mean, I've been saying, everyone, you were heavily pushing. It's going to be Sami. He's going to win the Rumble. He's going to win at Mania. And I was here cynical. I love that idea, but cynically, I was like, "You're out of your goddamn mind." This company, maybe in the 3rd match on night 1, that they'll do that match, but
it's opener of night 1, yeah, sure.
But to hear that was the actual plan, as a fan, that's what my heart wants to see. Mm-hmm. So it's a shame we're not getting that.
So what happens is, according to Ibu, Roman Reigns at some point in the year said, "Do you know what? I'm actually not all that enamored with this Hollywood thing as I thought I was going to be. I'd like to come back and I'd like to do a title match at WrestleMania."
Because Roman, over the last 2 years, has done a few films.
He's
One
in
was
Street
a
Fighter.
Comedy.
Yeah, he's got
He's
Street
just
Fighter
done
next
Street
year.
Fighter, yeah.
He's in Zootopia 2.
As the Z-Bros.
As the Z-Bros with Punk.
Did you catch that at the end of Survivor Series?
One guy shouted it out, yeah.
I love that it's just one guy.
But loud enough.
What was he, standing next to a mic?
So, according to Ibu, that's when Reigns was like, I want to be in a title match instead. So, then it's going to be, all right, we're going to do Reigns versus Rollins at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, and we'll move Reigns from SmackDown to Raw. He can feud with The Vision, feud with the Bronze, beat the Bronze on his way to facing Rollins at WrestleMania, which is why he did the stuff with Bronson. He was reportedly declined doing a match with Braun at SummerSlam, because instead, what his plan was, according to Ibu, the pitch then was made that he'll beat Rollins at Mania, then Braun turns on Rollins on the night after WrestleMania, Braun wins King of the Ring, then Braun beats Roman for the title at SummerSlam.
So that is Roman Reigns' here's my storyline, here's my creative for the next year.
And the way that Ibu says this is that all of Roman's ideas go through Heyman, then Heyman takes it to the creative team. Heyman is basically all of Roman's ideas go to Paul Heyman then disseminates that, like, here's what Roman would like to do.
And that was always the case with the Bloodline stuff as well. It was always Roman and Heyman reportedly working on the creative. They present that to, it sounded like Triple H and Koski and P.S. Hayes, who would do the sort of match finish side of things.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not within the normal writer's room.
Yes. And so that's when Sami Zayn just randomly moved to SmackDown. And do you remember me at the time saying, isn't it really weird that Sami Zayn he had a story with The Vision where part of that story was, we will move you to SmackDown and get you a world title match against John Cena. He was like, no, I'm staying on Raw. Then he went to SmackDown anyway and didn't have a world title match off the back of it, which made him look supremely stupid.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's such a weird move.
And he was so like, I want the world heavyweight title. I need to be a world champion. Everyone else has done it. The Kevin Owens promos. And he's like, yeah, but I guess this US title's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with this. And then I lost it. Do you know what? A 5-on-5 match with the MFTs. That's what my direction is now. So that's why Sami was moved over to SmackDown. Again, all according to what Ibu was saying. So now the idea is to do Roman versus Seth at WrestleMania. Rut-row. Now Seth's hurt. Bearing in mind the other side of this was that it was going to be Cody versus Punk for the WWE Championship.
Which, again, is something they've kind of been building to for years.
2 years at this point.
The go-home... Yeah, they were the final two for the Rumble 24.
Yeah, when he first comes back.
And then the go-home segment to Rumble 25 was Punk saying that title turns people bad.
Yeah, they've had two segments in the build-up to WrestleMania. And it actually might have been the build-up to the Rumble, either one of the two, but very purposefully done to be like, we were here this time last year, we'll be again this time next year. They have been doing this to set up the idea of doing Punk versus Cody for the title at some point. And apparently, according to Ibu, that was the plan for Mania 42, Cody versus Punk for the WWE Championship.
So the two top title matches are Seth versus
Roman.
Sami.
Seth versus Sami and Cody versus Punk.
So where was Roman in this?
Hollywood.
He wasn't going to do WrestleMania 42.
He probably was going to do WrestleMania, but he doesn't, even doesn't say what his plan for WrestleMania 42, what his match would have been. It's just that at some point he said, I want to do a title match.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he would have faced Heyman. I don't know. Maybe it would have been Braun. Maybe it would have been Braun Breaker.
Austin Theory. It could have battled the Spears. That makes total sense.
Yeah, it could have been something along those lines. Anywho. So that's
Could have been Jay.
Could have been Jay. Could have done something.
Jay could have finally beaten Roman.
Yeah, could have done something along those lines. Plenty of options that you could have done with him. So those are your two matches. It's Cody versus Punk, and you've got Sami versus Seth. Roman's decided, actually, I want to get on this. So now it's Cody versus Punk and Roman versus Seth for the world title. Clearly something that Roman's wants to do anyway. He's very like that Shield story, very tied within the characters. Great for Seth as well. Really elevates up that world title note within this.
And it concludes a trilogy because Seth interferes at WrestleMania 40 to help Cody win. There's the Shield spot there. There's Roman, Seth, Punk at WrestleMania 41 with the heel turn. And then here's the same match, but the roles reversed. Inverted, rather. So Seth's now the heel, Roman's the babyface.
I like how you said that you looked at the interference spot at WrestleMania 40 and not the tag match that Reigns had against Rollins on night one of WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, the go-home segment for WrestleMania Night 2.
And then, whoopsie poopsie, Rollins gets hurt. So then, and Ibu says, and he on the show, he's texting one of his he sends a screenshot to one of his co-hosts and so just so you know, I'm sending you the receipt to show you that I was sent this on November. I think it's November 11th. This is what I was told the plan now is for WrestleMania, and it's really funny because he sent it to his host, and his host so now I've just got this guy's number. I'm going to call this guy. And he was like, do not call that guy. Do not call him.
I thought you said Abu learnt from not sharing private information.
So he says, that's when the plan became, it's now going to be Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight Championship and Cody versus Punk for the WWE Championship. Rollins goes out hurt. Braun kicks him out of the group. Braun wins the world title. Roman then faces Braun for the world title at WrestleMania, and Cody faces Punk for the WWE Championship.
You know what that sounds like? Exactly what we booked when Seth got kicked out of the Vision.
Yes.
That is exactly what we booked.
And then somewhere along those lines, what he says there, but there was another option that some in WWE kind of wanted, and Roman Reigns wanted, if it was on his terms, and that was Punk versus Braun and Roman versus Cody. He then says that a creative meeting was held where the terms of what we all want have to be agreed upon. Well, like he says there, so if it's on Roman's terms, he's happy with doing this. And those terms have been agreed, which is why it's now been switched, and it's Punk versus Braun, and it's Cody versus Roman 3, their third WrestleMania main event in 4 years. And that's now where we're at with the current plans as it stands. And Ibu says, I don't know this is for sure. I don't know if there's creative plans. My guess is Roman's going to win the Rumble. He's then going to beat Cody for the title at WrestleMania.
And Breakker is, of course, facing Punk on the first episode of Raw of the Year on Netflix.
Yep.
I think he loses.
I think he might win.
Yeah, he could win, and then Punk wins the Chamber, faces him, beats him.
Could beat him, or maybe there's the masked man returns and interferes, or something along those lines. I have seen there are some people who now think that the masked man is going to be revealed as Seth Rollins. Like when
you string it out that long.
You string it out that long.
Yeah. Also,
I think, and I might quickly double check this, but I think there might lead some credence into my feelings that Braun's going to win, and then Punk wins the Chamber, and that is because, yes, I'm right. Elimination Chamber's in Chicago.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That works.
So Braun wins the title at Netflix. Punk wins the Chamber in Chicago, sets up the rematch for WrestleMania. So that's where we're currently at now.
Yeah. Unless the title is on the line in Chicago, Punk puts it up and he loses. Because what's more Triple H than wanting to beat CM Punk in Chicago?
Yeah. So
Saudi's his home country now.
Also, Ibu says, I don't know this for sure, but I would imagine somewhere along the line, someone has said to Sammy, because, now your big WrestleMania match is no longer happening. We'll do your big WrestleMania match at the WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, and you can win your world title match there.
Okay.
And I hear that, and I'm like, he's going to be like 2 years older at that point.
Yeah.
And he's not a spring chicken now. And when you're having all of these discussions about not pushing younger stars, I think maybe the time has passed on Sammy being in that position.
Yeah, Chamber in Toronto. What was that, 2023?
Yeah.
That felt like the time. It was also not the time because the Roman Cody stuff was
had to be that match.
But God, I mean, what if? What a special period of run of time that was overall. That was the build to 39, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So what do you make of all of this? I mean, first off, for me, looking at, listening to the way that, Ibu tells the story, when I've been watching this show, a lot of this tracks, a lot of this just makes sense. Like the Sami Zayn stuff, I think just makes sense. Roman feuding with the Vision to have a match with Rollins, that all just sort of makes sense. Braun handing over the world title and not being in the world title match and Punk winning it instead. I was like, all of this just feels weird. It feels like somewhere along the line, they've got an idea and then something has changed and now they're going in this different direction here. And sort of from a fan perspective, it has just felt odd. But when you hear this and you actually now a lot of that makes sense in terms of and it makes sense in terms of it's not what I would have done, but it certainly makes sense of if these conversations are happening, I can see why these things have now happened
and sort of go back on themselves on TV.
Yeah,
I guess my first thought on it is more Levesque's just not as focused as I guess I thought he would be, and of course that's been one of the trends of 2025 is that the bloom is somewhat off the rose with Triple H. He's a very conservative booker. But the way he oversaw NXT, he's not the guy directly booking NXT. I just always got the sense that he's a guy with strong opinions. Mm-hmm. He gets a plan. He gets a match he wants to do. And he will see that through because he's a very forceful personality. He's built his whole career on getting his own way and doing his creative vision.
Yeah.
And protecting the guys he wants to or is friends with and burying the guys he isn't friends with.
Yeah, making sure that he is the most protected.
So it's just that the idea that he just seems to now be... And I said this a couple of months ago when we did a podcast on Triple H's booking. It seems that was fine as Triple H, the wrestler, the player coach role. But now he's fully management. It's like he's just getting it from all ends.
Yeah.
This is the middle management, really.
That's what I was going to say.
And he's like, I've got TKO on my ass to set out these things. And then he's got Roman coming in and Roman's like, I want to do this. I don't want to do that. I feel like Triple H from 10 years ago would go, shut up, kid. you're facing this guy at Mania because we've been building this. I've been building Roman versus Punk or whatever for this long. I'm not, or like, Sami Zayn's my guy. I'm going to push Sami Zayn and he's going to beat Rollins or he's going to beat you, Roman. I'm just going to put the belt from Seth to Roman and Sami's going to beat you. But now I think he's just in a spot where he's like, yeah, okay, you can have that.
Maybe. I think with Roman, it's probably slightly different. I feel like Roman has got so much backstage political sway. You had a really interesting point a number of years ago when The Rock joined the board of TKO. And you said to me, I was like, the McMahons are no longer the most powerful family in wrestling. It's the Anoa'i family. That's now truly the most powerful family in all of professional wrestling. And maybe that is that is sort of the fruits of that labor, is that Roman Reigns, as part of that dynasty, can say, like, that doesn't work for me, brother. And actually, I think I should be the focal point of WrestleMania. And Triple H is like, well, actually, yeah, you are one of our marquee stars. That is a bigger match. I've got a feeling, like, because I've got nothing to base this on, just a gut feeling, right? I don't think Roman thinks doing a match with Punk is a big deal. I'm not saying that he doesn't want to work with Punk, because clearly he worked with him at WrestleMania this year, and he did the Survivor Series thing with him, and was in Survivor Series with him again this year, teaming with him. I just get this gut feeling, because if you were looking at these plans, you didn't need to do Roman versus Cody. You could just do Roman versus Punk. Punk wins the world title at Saturday Night's main event. Roman wins the Royal Rumble. He picks CM Punk. That ties into the WrestleMania story you were telling this year and the Paul Heyman thing, and do it that way. But instead, apparently, he's gone for Cody, which makes me think that he doesn't think the Punk match is actually that big of a deal. And him versus Cody 3 which is what I was saying on the War Games pay-per-view review. I think he thinks that's the bigger match.
Yeah, I think you're probably onto something there. Because while I do believe, and I mean, he has said in interviews, but you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. Is it work? Is it a shoot? I believe there is personal dislike or tension between Punk and Roman, but professionally they'll work together. Same with Punk and Seth. I'm sure same with Punk and a lot of people. He rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
I don't think he is now, because now he's just he'll just do what everyone he just will do what people say he should do now, and will smile along the way. And again, because you said this earlier, I think that's the ultimate political power play to eventually get control.
Yeah, because he's got his eye on NXT.
Yeah,
he wants Sean's job. But I think now the people who didn't like him before for being so opinionated and bullheaded now probably dislike him even more, because he's turned into a corporate stooge. He is corporate man Punk now. But with Roman, do you think there's a sense of Roman and Cody see themselves as this generation's Rock and Austin? And Rock and Austin had three WrestleMania matches.
Yeah, they had, let me get this right, 15, 17, and 19.
Yeah. So there's a year gap between each, but really that's 3 matches across 5 years. We're talking about 3 matches across 4 years. It's not that different. And you can't really argue with them either. They are the two guys who turned around the business. And that presumably builds to a babyface Cody versus Roman match, which is what you got at WrestleMania 17. But maybe that is the time to do the Cody heel turn.
Yeah,
I think
have to beat you, Roman.
I think if you do Cody Roman 3, because that's what set up at the end of War Games, we were like, okay, War Games again. That's been the overwhelming sentiment I've seen online. No one is in the scene a third installment, particularly because the first 2 were made so great because you had the Bloodline saga.
Yeah,
this is like doing Thanos is back again. We're going to take down Thanos. I'm like, I already saw you do that.
Yeah,
it is a rubber match.
Yeah,
they are tied one apiece. But I feel like this rubber match, face versus face, I feel like you need a big angle coming out the back of it. And to me, the only big thing you can do left with those guys is a Cody heel turn.
I would agree with you there. I think the big thing will be Roman wins the Rumble. And he wins the Rumble as a babyface in Saudi Arabia, where he's probably going to... Finally, he wins a Royal Rumble and gets cheered. That'd be part of the story for this, perhaps.
The Rock lifts his hand.
Huh? I agree with you. I also wonder if that's why Triple H is going in this direction, or has very much agreed to go in this direction, even though maybe it's going against what he had originally planned for WrestleMania, is a lot of the online discourse is, we're a bit done with your booking, we're a bit done with your safeness. So he's looking at, okay, well, what previously? When was the bloom on the rose? That's Cody Roman. That is our Rock and Austin. We should do a third one of those. And we were always going to do a third match. You do one winner piece. It was always going to happen in our timeline. We were always going to get a third match at WrestleMania for the title. So we'll do it now here rather than do it in 3 years' time.
I wonder. I'm just trying to book. How would you then do a year? Because you could then do a year of Roman trying to take down Rhodes' nightmare family. Rhodes gets his own bloodline.
Right, yeah.
I was thinking, who would be in that? Because Dustin's in AEW. Yeah. He could call up a Ricky Saints and he's in the gang, and Ethan Page.
I was going to say, just put all the ex-AEW, got put Jade Cargill in the group.
Really good. But my knee-jerk reaction... Well, my knee-jerk reaction was Jey Uso.
That's fun.
Which does tie into his character confusion over the last 6 months. He's always got that friendship with Cody. He went to Cody when Roman kicked him out.
Yeah, but also his whole thing is that maybe he's going to help Roman. Maybe he's going to help Roman win the title, and it's going to be like the bloodline effectively get back together. Jey becomes the right-hand man again, but it's now a babyface version of it.
Or Jey is heel for a year with Cody, and it's Jey turning babyface to help Roman because Cody's like to kill Roman, and you do you invert the sort of Jey and Sami spot.
The only reason I said that maybe Jey just goes back with Roman is Jey's promo on Raw was world titles look better. Maybe they just look better on Roman's shoulders. They don't look good on my shoulders.
So he just sees himself as a number 2. And I'm going to be a number 2 for Cody because I don't want to be little Roman.
Who does number 2 work for? So yeah, I think I'm not saying this is 100% exactly what happened. This is one person's recounting of what they have been told has happened along the way. I'm just saying that when I've been watching the TV program, a lot of things have had question marks over them. Over this last year, I've had that's weird. That's weird. Felt like you were setting something up then and you stopped doing it. That's weird. Felt like you were setting something and you stopped it. That's weird. And even heading into War Games, I was like, the idea of doing Cody Roman 3, I was like, that feels weird. I'm pretty sure you're going to do Roman versus Punk. That feels more the direction. And then when you hear someone lay it out like this, and here's what I've been told, it kind of makes you, maybe it's just the conspiracy, it's a conspiracy theorist sort of mindset, maybe. You look and be like, actually, now all of this adds up, and those question marks have been removed, because now it actually adds up. So I don't know.
Patreon.com/WrestleTalk is the best place to be this Christmas because this weekend, tomorrow, no less, we have the final 2 episodes of our 6-episode arc of Aces and Eights. Yeah. Bound for Glory 2013 will be public on the YouTube channel and podcast feeds, and Turning Point, which is the absolute fart of an ending to that storyline. Let's make it about Ken Anderson.
Yeah, he's our Austin.
Even I don't like Ken Anderson at the end of 2013.
Yeah.
But that's how annoying he is.
But guys, you're in a bit of a treat with the Bound for Glory 2013 review because Ken noises are back.
And motherfucker. Right.
So yeah, if you enjoyed Ken Anderson noises, there's more of them coming tomorrow as AJ Styles becomes the new main character of TNA, where he is Sting and Daniel Bryan and CM Punk all rolled into one.
And Dixie Carter is a budget Timu Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, and Hulk Hogan just leaves the company, and we're talking about sort of Hollywood Hogan style things. There's the end of Hogan in TNA. We're going to cover all of that, the last episode he has. And the only thing he would agree to for his final segment was that he leaves with Dixie Carter begging him to say, holding by the leg while he drags her up the ramp. That is the last image of Hulk Hogan in TNA, is them saying this company will fall apart if you go.
So if you've not been watching it already, you can join patreon.com/WrestleTalk right now, and you will get the whole run of all 6 episodes.
Yes.
Only 2 of which have gone out publicly, but the other 4 are behind the scenes, and it's the whole year-long storyline.
Yeah.
And if you do it now, of course, you'll want to keep it for next year because the invasion begins.
Yeah, we're going to be doing the invasion storyline from start to end. The very end, that being Vengeance 2001, is where we're going to be ending this up. We're going to be looking at all the big bumps in the road, all the pay-per-views, the Raws, the SmackDowns, all the big pivotal points of that storyline. Going through all the backstage, the machination. We've actually recorded part of the first episode of it. We are 2 and a bit hours into it, and we've only just got to the week of the purchase of WCW.
Episode 1, which will be on YouTube, I think that might rival the cutscene episodes for length.
I think
that's going to be a 5-hour episode.
I think it's going to at least run 5 hours.
Yeah.
I think, because like when you said to me, "Can we break now?" Like, how much more have we got to get through? I was like, we haven't even got to who they've got under contract now.
Well, we've been recording for about 2.25 hours. I really needed the toilet, and you kept on saying, "And the day before the episode, this happened," and I was like, "It's got to be finishing soon, right?" And then, like, you just kept going. It's so interesting. You've done so much research, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
But I was just like, my bladder's gonna burst.
Yeah, I was going to say, where we're just about to get to when we start recording again tomorrow is when the conspiracy theories kick in as to how Vince McMahon got the company and why they sold it to him and not to Fusions.
Very exciting. Oh, it's really good. So patreon.com/WrestleTalk. We've got loads of Christmas exclusive content going up there as well. So support us over there and get loads of extra videos.
The thing I was most looking forward to on this episode of Dynamite was the main event. I was so looking forward to this main event. But I enjoyed everything else that was on this show as well.
Yeah, really solid episode.
Yeah, really, really solid. And we have got a match announced for next week at Winter is Coming, as Samoa Joe will defend the AEW World Championship against Eddie Kingston after he beat Shibata on Collision and cut an awesome promo.
So it wasn't like the greatest match on Collision, and Eddie has not been his previous self.
He's missed a step
in the matches. Promo, of course, he's still there, but he had an awful leg injury, broken leg. It took him ages to come back from. There's a little bit of me that hopes that All Japan loving Eddie has made this all a work.
No way.
And the few short matches he's had since his return have been purposely sort of lackluster, because he knows he's got a Winter is Coming huge annual show, title match against Samoa Joe, and he's just going to be like, boom, here's the Eddie of old.
I'm back.
But yeah. That was the opening segment with Tony Schiavone, who got out there pretty sharpish. Joe got some local sports team heat, explained the genius of putting Hook with Kingston.
Yeah, it was to mess with Kingston.
And to show him what a bum looks like.
Yeah, and then Eddie got to cut. And like the other thing with Joe's promo, it's kind of a similar promo that Jericho and Punk and Danielson cut on Eddie when they were feuding with him, which is that, like, you're a man full of potential that you'll never fulfill.
You can't get over the finish line.
You can't get over the finish line. You'll never win the big one. And Eddie cut another great promo on Joe to be like, is this Samoa Joe? Because it doesn't look like Samoa Joe to me. This doesn't look like the Samoa Joe that was the greatest Ring of Honor world champion of all time. It's not the Samoa Joe that was tearing up with my mentor Homicide. This is not the Samoa Joe that would badmouth veterans for trying to give bad advice to younger talent, which is now what you're doing to Hook. And I want next week, you better bring that Samoan submission machine, because if you don't, I will eat you alive. And he just walked away from him.
Gets the final word. And Joe, he just shuffles Joe's so good. He just shuffles the belt on his shoulder. And it's like, you'll get what you asked for, son.
Exactly, yeah. I think it's going to be bad news for Eddie Kingston next week, I feel.
I'm both incredibly excited and tremendously worried.
Yeah, trepidatious.
Because I just want Eddie to be great.
The rest of the Ups got a promo saying that they're going to take on the Dark Order, and Hook's new gimmick now is he's the greatest second-generation wrestler of all time.
Can't wait for Dave Meltzer to dispute that on every episode of Wrestling Observer Radio. Every time it's brought up.
Pac with 3 points takes on Kazuchika Okada with 0 points in the Gold League.
Pac makes my body hurt.
In what way?
He's so big. I showed a picture of him this morning to a non-wrestling fan at the gym who is familiar with ways to get large.
And what did they say?
They said there's no way. in their opinion, there's no way that's natural physique.
I mean, of course it's not. You remember he was going to be given the Mighty Mouse gimmick? He literally just before he goes out goes and inflates himself.
Yeah, it just makes me think about What is AEW's wellness policy?
I probably don't have one.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
I mean, they certainly don't talk about it publicly if they do.
No, and you never hear of violations or suspensions or things.
Yeah.
But typically you think of AEW as quite a progressive company.
Yeah.
Pac, he is enormous.
It could also be as well that the wellness policy stuff was a fad of the mid to late 2000s following the Benoit thing, but that was a long time ago now, and times have changed, and it's fine to just do it. Time to just do it safely. Yeah, just do it all right.
Yeah.
So this was a good match. I really enjoyed it. Pac looked like he had it won when he hit the lariat and locked in the brutalizer, but Okada managed to reverse it into a crucifix pin to get a win, get a crucial 3 points that he needed here.
Yeah, so Fletcher got that sort of last second reversal pin. Gunther and Solo, was it? No. What match am I thinking of? What happened on Raw? I swear there was a last second crucifix reversal pin.
Oh, it was the LA Knight Jey Uso one.
That's it. Yeah, it was off the splash and then the boom.
Yeah.
But yeah, good match. Nowhere near as good as the other matches. This is probably like down at the bottom of the matches so far. Not saying it's bad. I'm just saying all the other matches have been better.
Mark Briscoe cut a promo on Daniel Garcia for being too much like Jon Moxley, and he wants a match with him at the Cardiff show. Update for anyone watching: if you were hoping to see us at the Manchester show in Dynamite, AEW still do not respond to any of my emails.
Okay.
Ricochet cut a promo saying, I'm getting calls from promoters all over the world to come and defend this national championship, and I'm going to do that this Friday at Ring of Honor.
This same company I'm at right now.
Because the main promoter that's called me is Tony Khan.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go do Ring of Honor final battle against Dalton Castle.
I like that they're called The Demand. And they're in demand.
They're in demand.
That is a satisfying name now.
Mark Briscoe gets another promo because Renee interviews him as part of the conglomeration to hype up Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong for Collision. Roderick Strong being like, I'm not part of this group. Why do you keep saying that I am? And Roddy's like, I'm just going to break your back. And he storms off.
And Cassidy's like, could we not do chops? Brilliant. I love this stuff. It's the opposite of the Death Riders tension, isn't it?
They also announced that Darby is hurt. Wasn't medically cleared to travel for this show.
Yeah, they showed a clip of him in a hospital bed after last week. I mean, this could be a work because this is the sort of lengths Darby would go to for the bit. But it's enough. It's making me doubt whatever, if it's real or not. Like storyline-wise, it works very, very well. Looks like a real local medical facility is what I've written here.
It just made me think, what do you do then? Because if you need to take him out of the league, but it's a round-robin league.
Yeah.
Do you just put him in there and have a match with Kevin Knight to see if they could have got 3 points? But if Knight beats them, he doesn't get another 3 points?
So they said they'll have an update on him if he can compete in the rest of the tournament. Is that's on Collision? Because I don't remember it here.
No, maybe next week. I don't know. Kyle Fletcher with 3 points took on Kevin Knight with 3 points in the Gold League. This was a really good match, but by the end, I bought into every single one of these near falls.
That last sequence of reversal, pin, finisher, kick out was brilliant. Kevin Knight has it. Like I really like watching him wrestle. It's not like I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see Kevin Knight do the next thing, like I am with some people like Kyle O'Reilly. But I can't deny there was a bit when he got up to the top rope and the crowd got to their feet.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's something here with this guy. I think he needs a character.
Yeah, he's got a character. He's friends with Speedball Martelli.
He needs something. I'm not saying give him a gimmick. Don't give that. He's also a race car driver. I'm not saying that.
He'd be a jet fighter pilot. He's called the Jet.
Yeah, I'm just saying he needs an edge. I don't know. I'm not Adam Copeland. I don't know if he's great. I don't remember him being particularly stand out on promos. Give him a manager then.
He wears sunglasses.
But I thought he was tremendous in this. Yeah. Carl Fletcher is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
He's so great.
And he just
awesome
ekes out the win here with a brainbuster. I really thought Fletcher could lose, though. That's how great Kevin Knight was.
And it's weird as well. And I have the same thing in the main event as well. The right choice here is for Fletcher to win. He should be the one that's dominating this league, and that can then lead to maybe a rematch with him and Okada. So for the finals of the Gold League. But also, I'm like, I bought into Knight possibly winning here. But I think Fletcher is the right choice. Don then brought out Josh Alexander and Hechicero. I think we had some timing issues here because Don started his promo and then we had to go to ad break.
Yeah.
So then he was like, I want to cut a promo on the Young Bucks. Also, where are you? You're over here? How you feeling, Kyle? Not great, Don. Yeah, cool.
He does say that.
Well, yeah. Anyway, Young Bucks. Well, we're back from the break. Then we come out from the break. I've got something to say to you, Young Bucks.
I thought when we came back from the break, I thought the crowd were going to be going nuclear.
Yeah.
I thought Don Callis would have spent those 3 minutes doing like the basest, cheap heat crowd work. And I bet he did because he's Don Callis. But we come back and the crowd are just, I don't think it was a great crowd.
No, in that main event, I was so mad at this crowd. I don't often get mad at crowds. Like, sometimes if a crowd's not reacting, that's sometimes on the wrestling show for not putting on a great show. But they were putting on such a good match in that main event. And I was like, where are you? Where are you, crowd? Where are you? Is this Dayton, Ohio or something? What's wrong with you? I don't know actually where it was. Don't tell me in the comments. But I really enjoyed when Don Callis finally did cut his promo because he has this bit where it's like, I've forgiven a lot of people in my life. People have backstabbed me, and I've forgiven them. People have lied to me, and I've forgiven them. I've known someone who's committed a murder, and I forgave them. But I cannot forgive people tagging with Kenny Omega.
Yeah. The unforgivable sin.
Unforgivable sin. So he calls the Bucks out to come pick up their money or try and take the money off of them. And the Bucks came out. They brawl with the Don Callis family. Okada then comes out to brawl with the Young Bucks. Jurassic Express come out to make the save.
Is that the first time Okada has physically interacted with the Bucks?
So.
Yeah, because they did play it up like a big spot where Nick's like, Okada, what are you doing? And Okada gives him the middle finger.
Yeah, and then it brawls with Jurassic Express. Then Kenny Omega runs out, and they sort of tease out an Okada Omega showdown again. And by the end of it, when you sort of have the two teams staring at each other, I think we're going to get a 10-man tag player, maybe at Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Snapdragon from Kenny on Okada, and he was setting up the V-trigger, but Okada got out of there. Kenny was a bit late on this save here.
He was waiting for his cue.
I feel like the Bucks came down ages ago, and then they were jumped by the Clon and what's the other one? Mark Davis, and then Jurassic Express, and then Okada, and then Kenny wearing a Christmas jumper and shorts.
Yeah, he did. He's awesome. What a hero. I felt so bad for Jurassic Express as well because the Bucks are beating down. So, of course, this crowd are going, Kenny, Kenny, Kenny. And then Jurassic Express came out and the crowd went, yeah, man.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
That makes sense, I guess. We've got a promo for the Babes of Wrath, and then
sorry, hot take on Babes of Wrath. I think they could win.
Yeah.
I think they are presenting as the most coherent tag team because they're putting so much work into, like, we've got matching gear. Here's the Babes of Wrath now.
I think the other ones are winning, though.
Mina and Tony.
Yeah. So I believe that Megan Bain and Marina Shafir are now called the Mega Problems.
Yes, Tony Khan announced that earlier this week.
Yeah. That's quite lame. Like, I know it's a play on Mega Powers, but that's naff, mate. The Mega Problems took on the Timeless Love Bombs in the tag title tournament in a holiday street fight, which I don't want to fold my arms here. But you came up with a wacky stipulation with a wacky name, and I don't think you delivered much on that.
I know. With the women's hardcore matches on AEW are excellent. I cannot think of one that has not been my favorite match of the week, really. And it's like with the most random people, Sky Blue and
name another one.
Anna Jay. It's like, oh my God, this is the best. This is the best wrestling I've seen. But here, Tony Storm, Mina Shirakawa, Bane, Shafir. There was no like we were fantasy booking last week. Oh, you just do Home Alone.
Yeah.
You do the Lego bricks on the floor. You do someone gets tarred and
Micro
feathered.
Machines, the baubles, because she's got bare feet, Marina Shafir.
Exactly. But all we really got was a barbed wire candy cane, which was used to put on a crossface. There was a table that was kind of decorated that someone got put through. Both tables were decorated. And then Luther came out as Santa Claus at the end with a present, revealed himself as Luther, which was really fun, and that led to Marina taking the loss. But yeah, like, where's the Christmas tree? This didn't feel like it went on that long. There wasn't any blood that I noticed.
No, this was WWE in 2019. I thought this was pretty lackluster.
Yeah, this was the New Day versus Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows.
Yeah, in a trick or street fight.
Yeah.
But actually, I don't even know. I'm going to take that back because a trick or street fight would have had more gimmicks in there to befitting of the name. A barbed wire candy cane is not enough, AEW. I think you could have done better here. But next week,
because it was, there was a whole build to the stipulation of this match. It wasn't just, we're going to have a hardcore match tonight.
No, they won a match.
This was a 2-week build.
Next week, they're going to face the Babes of Wrath for the titles. Then we got a promo for Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander versus the Triangle of Madness. They're going to take on the Sisters of Sin next week. Kind of sets up Tekla to be a future challenger for Chris Statlander, as well as Jamie Hayter eyeing up the world title as well.
Tekla's so cool.
She's awesome.
The way she delivers promos is just, I want to run away.
So we've got the awards out now, the nomination forms for the WrestleTalk podcast end of year awards, and someone filled theirs in, and one of their worst matches went to the Sisters of Sin. And I can't remember which match it was, and I turned to them because they were in the office and I said, what's your problem with the Sisters of Sin? And they went on a tear about how much they cannot stand the Sisters. They're like, Tekla's great, but I think that Julia Hart and Sky Blue suck.
I get a kick out of them. I mean, worst matches is so difficult now that wrestling's good.
Yeah, I think there's a fair... Looking at the way that the polling is going at the moment, there are three out.
There are 3 John Cena matches.
Well, there are 2 John Cena matches, but there are 3 main contenders for the worst match of the year, and the rest of it is just sort of variations of other. I didn't like this. Yeah. Some people's memories for things. Some people have voted for matches that happened on a Monday Night Raw, and I'm like, I don't think you can count those. Cool. Match on TV wasn't all that great. There've been way worse stuff. Anyway. Dark Order then cut a promo about being back on Dynamite, and Hangman Page walked past them, and Alex Reynolds just asked him to not get involved in their match. Renee then interviewed Mercedes Moné. She'll be facing Red Velvet at Final Battle. Then we've got a promo for FTR versus the Bang Bang Gang, and then FTR cut a promo on the Bang Bang Gang. And then we got the Ops taking on the Dark Order, and Excalibur was running down all the various shows that were coming up, and Hobbs won.
I really like seeing the Dark Order. Gave me some nice warm flashbacks of another era of AEW. I think you could use them more. They're already over. They're really good wrestlers. Like Reynolds and it took me ages to remember Alex Reynolds' name. Was it Alan Angels? What is it?
Who's the other one?
But yeah, John Silver Reynolds. Evil Uno is just a great sort of character.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just really a Hobbs victory. One spinebuster on Evil Uno to win.
And then Page ran down to attack the Ops. Security stopped him, but he then beat up the security.
Security, or is the Pussy Palace? Pussy Palace, Pussy Palace, Pussy Palace.
They noted
Dojo,
that Hook ran away from all of this. Hangman Page then challenged Shibata and Hobbs to a tag team match next week, and he's not going to be alone, which presumably then will be Swerve Strickland.
Bit of a weak angle.
I thought so as well.
Not helped by a quiet crowd.
No.
But I don't think the angle was particularly great either.
No. But it's all right because they've sorted out the Continental Classic situation and the title in this next promo.
Oh, it's our fault.
At least it was the heel that was doing it. But yeah, Don Callis. Renee interviewed Don Callis to clear up the confusion over the Continental Championship. Just like, look, you idiots. I know that we said we unified the championships at All In, but actually, we just created this fake belt to represent the fact that he's got 2 titles, even though he didn't say this in the promo, but I watched Swerve Strickland face Okada for that title, for the unified championship, with my own 2 eyes in the O2. And he's like, look, you dumb morons. It's actually, since day one, since All In, it's always been 2 belts. We've been very clear about that. And now I'm not going to put the international title in it because an idiot would do that thing. So just the Continental Championship is up for grabs. So I guess now the unified championship is deactivated.
Yeah, it's split into 2 again.
Yeah, it's back into being 2 belts. I'm glad that we've now got 4 mid-card titles.
Yeah, so a couple of months ago, we managed to get rid of 1 belt, and then Tony has relapsed hard. Often happens with addicts. And he has reintroduced the I've forgotten what it's called.
The Continental Championship.
The other one.
The National Championship.
The other one.
The International Championship.
The International. So he's reintroduced, let's say, the International Championship. He's debuted the National Championship. And there's a tournament going on right now for women's tag belts.
Yep. And the Continental Championship, of course. I think if Okada wins, which is every chance that he does do, because then he'll have broken the record and will become the greatest tournament wrestler of all time. I think that is going to be the story. I think Okada will just go back to being the unified champion again. And then we'll come to the C2 next year and we'll just have to go through this whole rigmarole again. I went on a tear on this in yesterday's WrestleTalk news. I think this is so dumb. I really appreciate that you took the time out on TV to address the criticisms that it's stupid that you have ununified the unified championship. But this is a stupid idea in the first place. You didn't need to have this promo. You made a stupid decision.
Yeah, because their route was to use Don to go, well, I'm not an idiot. Like, if I can keep one of the titles, I'll keep one of the titles. But that's just a bad story. Like, Don's character motivation makes perfect sense. So the best way, I think, to have dealt with this is to have an announcement from Tony Khan. We've heard you. Don, we're overruling you. Both belts are on the line in this. And it's now the Continental Championship again. I think we talk about Tony being a traditionalist. And he likes tradition. He likes doing shows in similar buildings. Like Wembley Stadium is becoming a tradition for him. He wants to do, even though it's probably more beneficial for him to run the O2 every year. I think he likes the tradition of going to Wembley Stadium every year. I think that sometimes is to the detriment of AEW, because the reason why I think we got the Continental Championship back is it's like, well, it's tradition that it's for the Continental Championship. I'll never get to interview Tony Khan. In the same way, I'll never get to interview Triple H. If I ever got to interview Triple H, I would ask him to apologize for the John Cena retirement year and tell him that he should be ashamed of himself. If I could interview Tony Khan, I would tell him, stop doing all of these titles. Can you, Tony Khan, explain to me why we've got this belt? You'd never get a word in. He would filibuster me for 15 minutes and then I would just ask him again, but why? Paige then cut a promo setting up the title match, and then we got our main event of Jon Moxley versus Claudio Castagnoli in the Blue League. Both men on 3 points. And I loved this match. Loved this match. It was made even better because it was Bryan Danielson on commentary. Right at the start, Marina Shafir doesn't leave ringside, which means the referee has to be like, and Bryan Danielson's like, Marina shouldn't be here. Like, the rules of the competition are she's not allowed to be here. And the referee's telling Marina, you've got to go. And then Danielson, you can hear his thought process while he's doing commentary, what you're performing. And he's like, I wonder if Mox wanted Marina out there because he doesn't feel comfortable doing these matches without her at ringside. She's like a comfort blanket to him. Yeah. And then Mox effectively wrestled this as the babyface in peril. Yes, it was very interesting. Claudio worked him over early. Babyface spots like Mox hitting a dive on the outside. Yeah, got busted open. He was in the sharpshooter with the blood pouring from his face. He's such a good worker, though. The crowd popped. For like, it took him about a couple of minutes, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I will pop for this move. I will pop for that cutter," because of the way the match was structured and worked. So, I mean, just as craftsmen, that's an incredible feat. I think the problem with this crowd for me was that they were popping for moves, but not the story. Yeah. Like they were just not buying into the characters or whatever it was. They went into the characters, they went into the story, but they were popping for someone doing a dive or hitting a big move. And in the end, they said, 10 minutes are remaining. We're halfway through. And they battle some more. And there's me thinking, I was like, I wonder if we're going to get a time limit draw here. I thought draw. Like, that makes the most sense, I guess. They'll both end up on 4 points. You can build towards the end. Maybe that'll be the finals of the Blue League. And then they were like, 5 minutes remaining. And I was like, yeah, okay, I think we're heading to... Hits the uppercut and Claudio wins. Like, honestly, out of nowhere, I was literally writing in my notes, 5 minutes remaining. And then boom, Claudio hit the uppercut and pinned him. And I was like, oh no. Claudio's just beaten Mox. And it took me a little while to process it. I was upstairs in the office watching this. It was just me and editor Wes in there. And I saw this bit and I just went, oh! And Wes was like, you okay? Everything okay? I was like, but Mox lost. Yeah. A genuine shock. Not a shock that he lost, because that was always a possibility, but the manner in which he lost. Yeah. Clean, out of nowhere. Like that, just suddenly. Boom, hit that move and he pinned him. It was awesome. And then Bryan Danielson had this to say on commentary.
When we were in the Blackpool Combat Club together, I was never able to defeat Jon Moxley. That's why we saw him as the leader. Claudio Castagnoli has just defeated Jon Moxley. That's the story, man. It's like, I think him doing the babyface, it was almost like a babyface turn for him within this match.
It's a foreshadowing of, hey, audience, you've hated this guy for a year. Here's a babyface setup for when he does turn, when the rest of the group turns on him.
They were doing a lot on commentary as well about the stats that they've had to get wrestling. I said they've had like 8 matches and Moxley's won 7 of them up until this point. So now here's Claudio beating him in this tournament. Like he's taken over this group.
One of the huge things as well is it's not a submission, because if Mox gets submitted here, I think the conversation could be about, well, he's that one part of him is psychologically shook. That's his Achilles heel right now. But the fact that it was just a clean pin off an uppercut, which is Claudio's finisher, but it wasn't a submission. The problems have spread to all of Mox's strategy.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it as the finish. And you had like all the rest of the Combat Club, all the Death Riders come down celebrating with each other, the sort of the hand slaps, but we never got to see the Moxley Claudio interaction. It was like Pac in the ring with Claudio, Wheelie on the outside asking if Mox is okay. Never got to see it, and I want to see what the next part of this is. I cannot. They told me at the start of this year that Moxley would be one of the most compelling characters in AEW. I wouldn't have believed you. Yeah. Here we are, and I can't believe how much I'm into him.
Well, should we go on to last week's comments?
Yes, please.
Of course, because someone missing on this episode was Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate. That was our big talking point last week. AEW's Bobby Lashley problem. He doesn't lose. He's not in the C2. They made a new belt for him that he weirdly didn't win. Deans has said, I don't think the problem is losing. The problem is there has been no character or story development since the MJF feud was abruptly dropped.
That's a good point.
We didn't actually mention this. Yeah, I totally forgot about it.
I'd forgotten. Anytime I was reading the comments, people I was like, oh yeah, the MJF thing.
Because we sort of just went through the matches and like, oh, this match, they didn't put anyone over this match. That is a storyline that felt like they were building to something and going somewhere. Totally dropped.
Yeah.
Bonus baby. Wasn't Shelton Benjamin in the C2 last year and take losses?
Yeah, he's not the protected one.
Yeah. Either MVP's going to take the fall in a trios match or Shelton might occasionally take falls.
There is an order. There's a pecking order. It's MVP, it's Shelton, and Bobby Lashley is the most protected.
Did you see the interview with MVP this week? He said that Bobby is too unselfish, so MVP steps in and says, no, Bobby's not doing that for him.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there is a lot of truth to what Sean wrote in that report earlier this year.
Dender's Demise, however, has this take. Bobby Lashley has a 17-2 MMA record and could beat up anyone in that locker room, and he's got the best and craziest physique on the roster as well. This is a prime example of a wrestler you do protect 90% of the time for legitimacy optics.
Yeah, you div. That's why he's not in the C2.
And there was a comment reply to that someone just said, yeah, but this is pro wrestling.
Well, that's always been my argument as well, is that like it's not real and you can take loss, and it's not real at the end of the day.
Well, the 17-2 MMA record is like 10 years ago. He's 48. Yeah. I don't think he could do MMA fights to that extent now. And yeah, you even say there, 90% of the time. He has been protected 100% of the time. That's the problem, that he's not put anyone over. But yeah, please do get in your comments on the Roman Reigns political discussion.
Yeah. I'd like to think that people have watched the podcast first and left their comments, unlike Tuesday's show, where everyone thought that Jericho was the guy that scaled the cage. Even though we quite clearly said in that episode it was Austin Theory. But clearly people just opened that video and left their comment before watching the podcast.
I think that's what a lot of people do. We've just got to make peace with that. They open a video, they see the title, they watch 2 minutes, and I'm like, I'm going to leave my thought. Which is fine. That's how comments work. Do you have any recommendations?
Vinted.
The reselling platform Vinted.
Yeah, that's where I got the shirt from. I this year I said to my wife, I was like, I'm gonna buy myself a new Christmas shirt this year, and she's like, I don't think we need to buy new things. I'm like, that's a fair point. She's like, just get onto Vinted and try that. Went onto Vinted and I got 3 new Christmas shirts and a Christmas jumper for 15 quid.
Yeah.
And happy days.
It's like eBay, but...
Yeah, I mean, it'll eventually...
An app?
Oh, yeah, I mean, eBay's got an app as well. I mean, it'll probably start becoming more like eBay because you can buy like homeware and stuff of it and stuff. It will just become eBay but with different branding. But yeah, I've got no other recommendations. Actually, no, I'll tell you what. Merry Little Xmas on Netflix.
No, don't recommend
Why
that.
not?
You're a madman.
It's a fun film.
It's not good enough for a recommendation.
Oh, I've recommended way worse things on this show. Merry Little Xmas is on Netflix. It is a Christmas movie with Alicia Silverstone, and it says and Melissa Joan Hart. She has like 2 scenes, but it's a fun little story about a couple getting a divorce and trying to work out what their Christmases are going to look like. And the divorced partner in the man side of things has got a new girlfriend played by Jamila Jamil, and then Alicia Silverstone might be doing a little thing with a younger hot who's very funny actually. What was his
Chet. He's the
Chet.
star of the show. You know what? I will allow you to recommend Chet from the movie. I won't allow you to recommend the movie itself.
But if you're looking for Christmas, do you know what? Here's the other reason to recommend it. 1 hour and 27 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. More 90-minute movies, please.
The Wes Anderson exhibition at the Design Museum in London. It's just opened. We went last weekend. Oh, it's brilliant. It's so good. Because the guy has a lot of props, and the props are individually beautiful and of a very certain aesthetic. You walk around the corner and there's the whole Grand Budapest Hotel model. You walk around another corner, there's a glass cage of all of the fantastic Mr. Fox models. Yeah, and just like from a movie memorabilia perspective, the stuff I talked about earlier with the script and the actual script
that
and
is
thing.
Cool, yeah. No, I'm being very facetious about this because I find it very fun to make fun of Wes Anderson movies because every Wes Anderson fan you speak to will tell you he hasn't made a good film for like 15 years. Or the last one he made was Grand Budapest Hotel.
Grand Budapest Hotel was the last good one.
But every time a new trailer comes, like, it's another Wes Anderson. But I get it. I'm a Kevin Smith fan, you know, and he is a guy who also has not made a lot of good movies.
But hey, he's going to have references. And you can go and you could be like, that wasn't the best film, but those references, I had a good time. With the Wes Anderson movie, the colours. The colours were nice.
And, you know, I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. A franchise that has got 9 movies and 3 of them are probably good. I think you make a strong
Revenge of the
argument.
Sith, Phantom Menace, and Attack of the Clones.
I think you can go to bat for A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and add a push Revenge of the Sith.
I thought you were going to say Last Jedi then.
I've fallen off Last Jedi a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it since it came out, so I can't say too much whether I would put that in my rankings.
Just because, you know, there's not many tickets left for the Design Museum, and you've got to be in the UK or in London really to go see it. A music video choice.
Hello.
If you want something intense, viewer discretion advised. I might play it for you after this when we're packing up. Black Midi's Welcome to Hell.
Okay.
It is an intense song. Can't stop listening to it. And the video is nightmare fuel.
Wow.
It's like this anime horrible thing. I think about a weird bunny man following a bunny lady on Only Bunnies, and he goes to chew her face off.
Well, that you said bunny ladies, and all of a sudden I can see why you have had such an affinity for watching this.
Look, Zootopia's back. I get it. I'm not. Judy Hopps is nothing to me anymore. I'm engaged to a human, non-animated woman.
Yeah, because you couldn't get Judy in the end.
She won't return my calls. But thank you very much for joining us here today. Of course, go to patreon.com/WrestleTalk, where you can catch up and complete the whole Aces and Eights deep dive series from tomorrow. But for now, I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Luca and DAD. Jam that jam.
Jam that jam.